Hi, I'm Brad Sugars, and yes, the Wealth Coach is almost here. You know, talking about wealth is something that's a whole lot of fun for a lot of people, but for others, it's really not that much fun because they don't know how to do it, they are stuck with it, and they're thinking, how will wealth ever happen for me? Well, understanding wealth is, well, we're doing 8 parts this week. Last week we talked about celebrating wealth, that wealth is actually a good thing, and for a lot of people, that's a tough one to actually sit down and focus on. Today we're going to talk about passive income. What is passive income and how does it work? And actually you'll see in the background there my board game Leverage. That's actually another thing we needed to focus in on today. Passive income is that income that comes in whether you get out of bed or not. And when we sit down and we take a look at it, most people don't understand how to make it happen. Why? Because we went to school or college and what did they teach us? They taught us very simply put how to do the work once and get paid one time, and that's not passive income. Passive income is the work that comes in no matter what, or the money that comes in no matter what. Have you ever heard the saying old money? Well, old money is really about passive income, I guess. It's about, you know, someone did the work once that's still paying results today, and that's what we're looking to get. So, what is passive income? It's income that comes in for doing the work one time many moons ago. So let's define leverage so that we can help combine the two because they work hand in hand. Leverage is where ultimately, well, its mathematical formula is divide to multiply. My formula, or the way I teach it, is you do the work once and get paid forever. So really our goal is to do work one time and get paid, well, at least long term, because at least with long term you've got some form of passive income, but forever would be even better because that way you've got permanent passive income. So ever more with ever less is probably the only other definition of leverage. Now let's use some examples of leverage so that you understand it, because understanding leverage is probably the key philosophical point we need to be able to create real wealth. Now, wealth is about investing. Wealth is about building income in the future. So it's not just going to happen by doing work. Going to work every day is not wealth. You know, I've met business owners and business people who think, well, I'm creating wealth by going to work. Well, you're creating income. So income then gets invested to create wealth. Someone asked me just recently, I put a video up of my Tesla, which is a great fun toy, but there's some Tesla hacks which you can do, and one of them is it plays Christmas songs and the wings dance and all that. And he said, Brad, when should I get one of these? And I said, well, when your investments pay for your toys is a good time to get your toys. Don't just pay for your toys out of cash flow, pay for them out of investments. So leverage, let's get back to it. What's some examples? Well, let's look at real estate investing as one. You buy a house once, you collect the rent forever. You only pay 20% of it, 80% of it is paid for out of the rent. So therefore you only paid for 20% of the asset, you get 80%. That's phenomenal leverage. 20 years, yeah, it takes 20 years for it to get paid off, but you still own an asset. So if you're wanting to retire in 20 years, you buy a house now, you put down 20%, someone pays off the other 80%. Whether it goes up or down in value doesn't really matter. But that income that comes in, see, people think that's the form of passive income. Once it's paid off, absolutely, that's perfect passive income. While it's paying off the mortgage, it's not really passive income, it's income that's paying off the mortgage. So remember that. In a business, for example, I own many companies where I don't actually do any work in the business, so the income I make is passive income. It comes in whether I work or not. Now, it took time to build those businesses or to invest in those businesses, but that's where the money comes in whether I work or not. I write books, as we talked about, The Wealth Coach. There's my business coach book behind me, Billionaire in Training, Instant Cash Flow. Some of these books, well, Instant Cash Flow, I think that was now 17 years ago, I think I wrote that book, and I still get paid for it today. So that's what passive income is all about. Now, how do you learn how to do passive income? Well, again, go through my book, The Wealth Coach, click on the link below and actually order yourself a copy, but learn how passive income happens. I'll go through the multiple strategies in the book as to how passive income happens for people. So, business, real estate, and I guess dividends off of shares is another form of passive income. It's income that comes in, royalties that you get, musicians do it. But let's learn leverage a little more detail so that we can understand it. Let me give you some examples of leverage in, say, business. What's one we can all understand? I'm filming myself here on my iPhone. There's a perfect example of leverage. You've got Apple computers. Now, Apple's an amazing company, but many years ago, well, 15, what's it now, 16, 17 years ago, they were about to declare bankruptcy. Why? Because they had no leverage. They made a computer once and sold it just once. That's not leverage, my friends. What we're aiming to do is do the work once and get paid forever. So when Steve Jobs came back to Apple, now luckily enough, he'd gone on and run a movie production company at Pixar, making all these movies. They sold it out to Disney, of course. But when making a movie, you make the movie once and you sell it a gazillion times, and you sell it over and over again. You sell it forever. I mean, I just seen Toy Story come out with another version, and I know my kids still have the Toy Story toys and that sort of stuff. Who's another example? Disney. Disney's a perfect example. Actually, I brought them up. So you think about it with Disney, they make a movie once, they sell it 1 million times, but they also sell the dolls, the music, the this, the that, you name it, they sell it. The rides at their theme parks, you go to them on Disney cruises and you meet the characters. They're geniuses at leverage. Back to Apple for a second. How did they form leverage? Well, they got into the music business. And now they're even better geniuses than everyone else. They don't even make the music. They just built the system to sell it. And they don't even make it, but they sell it 1 million times. Brilliant geniuses. Now they got apps and TV shows and movies and games and all of these wonderful things. That's why they invented the iPad, so you could buy more movies and games and that. Just geniuses at this stuff. So is your business built around leverage? Is it doing the work once and pays you back forever, or at least long term? Are you doing owner's work versus employee's work? Give you an example of that. I had a friend of a friend who came to me, she owned a hairdressing salon, and she said, Brad, it doesn't seem fair. My staff make more money than I do. And I said, well, hang on, what work are you doing? Are you doing owner's work or employee's work? She said, well, I cut hair all day. I said, great, you're doing employee's work. You should make the same as your employees. See, owner's work is long-term work, things that pay you back long-term. Now, you can't jump straight to owner's work when you start a business, but of course you can get there eventually. Planning, systemizing, training staff, hiring staff, marketing in many cases, long-term paybacks. Real estate, I think we've touched on that enough, but if you buy it once and get the rental income forever, that's brilliant leverage. Shares, buy them once, collect the dividends forever, brilliant. Or write options on it, whatever you want to do. But the aim of leverage is to create passive income. A big part of wealth is passive income. So, read The Wealth Coach, or audio copy first. Read The Wealth Coach, learn about passive income, learn how to build it, the strategies for doing it, the systems behind it, not just the philosophy, and then you'll build wealth for yourself. See, wealth starts first of all in your head and your heart, and then it gets into your back pocket. Learn it, follow it, do it. Become coached by The Wealth Coach. Read the book, follow the lessons. Have a great week. I'll talk to you next week more on wealth and more about how you can build it. Enjoy reading The Wealth Coach, and make sure you get a few copies for your friends and family. They'll definitely thank you for helping them build their wealth.